San Francisco 49ers general manager John Lynch is a badass for how he handled the De'Vondre Campbell situation. Once he found out that De'Vondre refused to go back into the game, he came all the way down from his box to the field to rip him a new one and kick him off the sideline. There's more to the story, but take a listen to Jay Glazer as he kind of gives the behind the scenes of actually what had happened and how that situation played out on the sideline right here.
Hey, one of the more unusual situations we've ever seen happen Thursday night. De'Vondre Campbell refused to go into the game for the 49ers. What really happened down there?
Okay, first let me tell you, the 49ers are trying to suspend him. They're working with the league office to see what's the max they can do. And even if he wanted to come and apologize and come back, players don't want it. But you're asking what happened behind the scenes. They started seeing about the second quarter, he was refusing to go in. So John Lynch actually went down there in the fourth quarter and confronted him on saying, you don't want to go in the game. You're refusing. Yes, it was Lynch who sent him in the locker room. By the way, I got players who called me after and said, hey, we've heard you talk about this alter ego of John Lynch, this 47 Red character. Man, we saw it. That dude is crazy. They all saw it firsthand.
I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. You don't want 47 Red. You want John Lynch.
That's exactly right.
Don't want
me that a guy refuses to go into the game when the coach says go in, and he says no, and you can't suspend him without going through all this red tape.
Well, how much they could suspend him, because they don't want to just sit there and give him one game. They'd love to give him 3 games, but there's certain rules.
Why not get rid of him?
Because then he can get paid by somebody else.
If you cut him, you have to pay him the rest of the year.
And he would benefit more than if you suspend him and he doesn't get paid.
How you do that to your teammates?
Yeah.
That's my problem.
All right. Thank you very much, Jay.
Honestly, I love the story. Love getting the behind the scenes to be able to hear John Lynch do what he needed to do. And, you know, some people might not be familiar with 47 Red. I actually got to watch John Lynch play football growing up, and he was a dog, man. He would destroy you. And you hear it all the time about how these players can be so nice and so chill, and then a flip switches. I think of like Fred Warner, like having the opportunity to meet Fred Warner and be able to interview him and talk to him. He's such a cool dude. He's so chill that you would even be like, man, how does this guy turn into a maniac on game days? And he does, you know. Same thing with Dre Greenlaw. Had the opportunity to talk to Dre, super chill, nice guy, and then game day happens and a flip switches. And that's just how it's got to be in the NFL. And so for a former, you know, not even a former Hall of Famer, John Lynch, that flip switched. And like I told you guys about some of my reactions this week, maybe you've seen some of my videos where I kind of laid into De'Vondre Campbell and I got spicy and I got upset. There's something about being a former football player that I think hearing that your teammate is quitting on you on the sideline, that triggers something differently inside of you. We're all wired and programmed to fight for the guy next to you, like as a football player. And we learn that from a very young age and all the way through. So when you're a football player, you have a different set of circumstances of how you interpret things. And so when a guy quits on you, that's like the highest level of just blasphemous type of what, like one of the worst things you could do as a football player is do what De'Vondre Campbell did. So that's why I think when you look across the league, all the former football players are spicy about this. They're all real, like there aren't many that are defending De'Vondre Campbell's actions or saying, well, you put yourself into, no one's saying that. No one's saying that, because what he did is unforgivable as a football player. You do not leave your brothers out high and dry like that. You don't take a spot where you dress and then don't refuse to go out when you have all these injuries. So yeah, John Lynch comes down from the box, flip is switched and rips into him, and good, and rightfully so. They should. De'Vondre is a punk for this. We've talked about this a million times. You said you could use whatever word you want to describe him. But at the end of the day, what I also like about this situation is they're not outright cutting him or releasing him. I think fans want to see that. Fans want just get rid of him, get him off the team. But you have to pay him, and he can go sign elsewhere and play for another team this year. They don't want to do that. They want to basically hand down the maximum type of punishment they can, which is a suspension, which would be a 3-game suspension and then so he can't sign, he can't play, and he doesn't get paid. So they're really trying to stick it to him. They don't want to pay him, they don't want him to sign anywhere, and they want him to just deal with this with the suspension. So I think that's the right move, 100%. You don't. One of the things too, as an organization, is like you can't let this occur and just like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. No, you got to set an example. You like, if you're going to do this to us, this is how we handle this. This is what we think of this. This is how not okay this situation is. And you have to let them have it. So zero sympathy for De'Vondre Campbell. Absolutely love hearing the kind of behind the scenes of how John Lynch handled it, how upset he was, because I think, again, a lot of us are really upset by that situation and the just poor position he put his team and his fellow linebackers in. Like, you think about the room that he's in all the time. Those guys got hurt and couldn't play. You had a banged up Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles trying his best to stay on the field. Dude could barely walk. And he was doing whatever he could because they were out of linebackers. And that's on De'Vondre Campbell. He put Demetrius in that situation to have to do that. And that's not okay. I would have to say that at that point, like, that's when you go from, hey, we're boys, to, yeah, we're not boys anymore, because what you did not only affected me, but it affected all of us. It impacted the entire team. Who knows if we have a healthy linebacker in and we get that stop when we had the coverage bust, and it gives the 49ers one more chance to get the ball in their hands, and they somehow come and make a game-winning drive down the stretch. We don't know. We don't even get the opportunity because we had a coverage bust on one of the last plays of the game because we didn't have a linebacker in there. So just unfortunate situation, but I'm glad that it's being handled with some zest, with a little bit of spice, with a little bit of, you know what, you're going to do that to us. All right, well, we're going to do it back to you, and we're going to really make you feel the ramifications of your decision making. So I'm glad to see it. I like it. I want to know about you guys. What did you think about what Jay Glazer had to say? What do you think about John Lynch turning into 47 red and all that good stuff, and how the 49ers are planning on handling this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.